DJI are back again with a brand new camera system, and this time it's in the form of the DJI Osmo Nano. So we've seen something similar from DJI in the past with the Osmo Action 2, but this time it's a redesigned system. It's a really, really impressive camera system, and there's a lot of cool features here with some great accessories, as well as the Osmo audio ecosystem. What's going on, guys? My name is Dan Davis, and I'm the creative director here on DansTube.TV, and today I've got my full review on the DJI Osmo Nano. Make sure to leave your comments below if you've got any questions, and let's get into it. The Nano comes as two pieces. So you get the camera system, which has a little magnetic connection underneath with a little clipping system. And also the body of the unit is magnetic as well. So you can just clip this on magnetically to a lot of different surfaces to give you quite a unique perspective. Then we get the multifunctional vision dock, which is the second piece of the Nano system. So the way that this works is this is actually a remote controller and a viewfinder. So I can set this camera up somewhere else, and I can use this to frame up the shot, press record, or do whatever I need to do. There is a record button on the side of the unit there. And then there's a record button as well on top of the Nano camera. It really opens up a lot of creative elements when it comes to how you can mount this camera system and how you can use the remote control. And I found myself using the controller, the remote control, the live viewfinder, whatever you want to call it. Well, it actually does have a name. It's called the Vision Dock, a multifunctional vision dock. And I found that I was using this in a lot of scenarios, because you can literally have this on your hat, which I had in many scenarios, and then I could see the framing. So at any point I could just slightly angle down the camera, move it in different ways. I also used like an electric scooter, and again, very easy to just angle it down because I wanted a different perspective. All sorts of things like that make it super easy. Even if I was to mount it onto a pole, I then can just see how it's framed. And that's something that you're going to struggle with an action camera. Even if you mount it, you can't actually see what's going on. So you would have to connect up an app, and then it would be a whole process just to see if it's framed nicely. Where this just works seamlessly, it makes it a lot easier to get super unique perspectives with such a small camera system. There's a few examples of me putting this in the freezer, in the fridge, in like the dog food bowl, and a bunch of other examples like that, where I'm able to put it in there, and without having to worry about the framing, I can just look at this system here and know, okay, it's framed nicely, and I can just press record from this unit without having to press it on the camera. So looking at the body, it's a very unique camera system. It's got quite an interesting rectangular design with curved corners, really easy to mount up to really any sort of surface or any sort of environment, because you've got lots of magnetic options, you've got lots of mounts, and the body itself is magnetic as well. Now, if we look at the camera system on the Nano, it's actually a camera system that we've come to love. It's the 1/1.3 inch CMOS sensor. So we've seen this camera system before on many other drones. The Mini 4 Pro is an example of that camera system. So you know that if you have a DJI drone, the camera quality and what you're going to get from this is actually going to match up nicely with your drone footage. The Nano weighs 52 grams. It has lots of different magnetic mounting points and wearable options as well. So it really is quite a versatile camera system. It's something completely different to what you would have used before. If you've used an action camera, it's going to be a whole different experience. If you've used any other camera system like the Pocket, or maybe you've used like your smartphone gimbal, or you've used the standard mirrorless camera, whatever it may be, this is a whole new experience because it just allows you to mount up in such unique ways, right, that you wouldn't be able to with even an action camera. Like I think about the example of I was using the hat mount. There's a little hat mount that you can use, and I actually mounted it onto the collar of our puppy. And yeah, her fur's getting in the way in a lot of the shots there, but so unique because it's lightweight that she didn't even really notice it there. If it was an action camera, she would feel the weight of that pulling her down. So I could mount it on, throw the ball for her, and again, very unique perspective that you wouldn't be able to get from a lot of other camera systems. And so like I said, it is a 1/1.3 inch CMOS sensor. The thing that's really cool here is it does have up to 13.5 stops of dynamic range, and you can capture 4K 60 frames per second. And the field of view here is 143 degrees. So it's a really, really nice perspective, nice video quality, and I found that that all worked perfectly fine. It also features 10-bit color, which is great to see. You can shoot in D-Log-M, and you can also capture 4K 120 frames per second. So all of that looks great. In the slow motion, you don't get any of the rock steady or horizon balancing features from what I can see, but you do get rock steady and horizon balancing when you're just using standard 4K 4K, 1080p, or whatever kind of mode you want to go with. And I found that, as always, that rock steady is rock steady. It's just rock solid every time. So that looks great. And I love the fact that I can mount this camera up anywhere and I still get really smooth footage. That's something really nice to see. If we change it to the slow motion, as much as I love using the slow motion, you don't get that stabilization. So you do get a little bit more bouncing there. So you want to make sure that it's a nice static shot if you've got the slow motion enabled. But I found overall the video quality and even the photo quality, not that I took too many photos, but it's really great across the board. And you can see the similarities here with this sensor and something like the Mini 4 Pro sensor, for example. A big thing that DJI have been pushing recently is their Osmo audio. So there's the Mic Mini, the Mic 2, and the Mic 3, all really impressive microphone systems. Right now we're using the Mic 3, and what I'm about to show you right now is just a little bit of a comparison between the onboard microphone system on the Nano. So you'll get a little bit of that clip popping up right now, and then after that there will be the Mic 3 connection. So let me know in the comments below what your thoughts are with the onboard audio as well as how the Mic 3 sounds with the Nano. This is audio directly from the Osmo Nano. It is designed as a vlogging or a creator camera, so you would hope that the audio would sound pretty decent from the onboard mic system. So let's have a look and compare it up to the DJI Mic 3 when that's connected up and see if we notice a huge difference here. This is now audio directly from the DJI Mic 3 connected up wirelessly to the Osmo Nano. Theoretically, it should sound significantly better as this is like a professional grade wireless microphone system, but so easy to connect up. So if you do decide on getting yourself the Mic Mini, Mic 2 or Mic 3, this is an awesome little setup here. And at any point I can just disconnect the screen like so. And I've got a tiny little camera system that at any point I can just plop down into a little position, right, and have a slightly different perspective. I can chuck it in the water because it's waterproof. This piece is not though, so you got to be mindful of that. And it's just such a cool little mini camera system that you can put in some weird and wonderful locations. But when you have a microphone system set up, if I disconnect the module, it just pops up with a prompt like that. So just something to be aware of, because you don't, for whatever reason, get the video feed if you've got a microphone system wirelessly connected. If you are interested in any DJI drone, camera, or accessory, then I will have some links down in the description below. You can reach out directly to the D1 store if you're based in Australia. I've helped Aussie save over $70,000 on all of their drones, cameras, and accessory purchases. So reach out to them, sales@d1store.com.au, mention DansTube, and they'll help you out with the best deal possible. You can also mention DansTube when you go in store into one of the DJI stores in Australia, and they can help you out in store, which is also really cool. And for most drones, cameras, and accessories, you can also use the code DansTube on their website. All of that will be linked down below. And for my international viewers, don't you worry, I'll also have some links down there as well, so check all of those out. The camera of the Nano is also waterproof up to 10 meters. The dock itself, that little remote controller, is not waterproof, so it's only splash proof, so you got to be really careful. Make sure that you put that away from any sort of environment where it might get wet. But the camera system is waterproof. I found that when I put it underwater, immediately it disconnected from the actual viewfinder, so I wasn't able to see that footage or that perspective from under the water. That's a common thing. Water's just dense and awkward to kind of penetrate, but it's not really an issue with such a wide field of view because the camera is always going to have you in shot. As long as you're pointing it at you and you can see the lens, you're probably in the shot. With the multifunctional vision dock, it does give you the option to have a live camera view, which I found, like I said, really useful in most sorts of scenarios where I just had the camera mounted somewhere or I positioned it in a unique perspective, and I was just able to see that live camera view. It also gives you the extended battery life as well. So straight when you mount it up, it charges up the camera system and gives you extended battery life. But you can just use the camera system independently. There were times where I literally had the dock in like a different room and I was just using the camera system, and straight when I press record, I could hear the record sound chime from both the dock and the camera system. So you still get those audio prompts even when it's in a separate room. They're saying that the file transfer speeds are fast here, and they're saying that you can offload footage at up to 600 megabytes per second, which is insane. The dock itself also sports a micro SD card slot, but the unit itself does include 64 gigabytes of internal storage, which is nice to see. But I did find from my recent test, and this can definitely be improved, and it could have something to do with my computer system, but I found that it was disrupted constantly when I was trying to transfer footage across. It would just cancel, and I'd have to transfer it again and it would cancel. It happened multiple times. I don't know why this was. I've never had this before, but just something I thought I would mention as well. So in terms of runtime, you're getting about 90 minutes of footage at 1080p and 60 minutes of footage at 4K. You can also connect the unit up to the Mimo application just to get a little bit more functionality out of the camera. And on top of that, the actual user interface and the experience on the camera system when you're just using the camera system is so familiar. They've done a great job of creating such a uniformed user interface here. Whether you're using the Action series, the Pocket series, or whether you're using even the Osmo 360, it all feels very similar here. So it's easy to navigate, to connect up a microphone, to go into the settings, to change the different modes. They've kept it really uniform here and it's predictable, which is great to see. And I was actually quite impressed with all the different accessories that are available right now at the time of me doing this video, which is really close to the launch date. So I'm sure there'll be many other third-party mounting options that will come out. But at the time of me doing the video with the standard combo, I got the hat mount, which works really nicely. You get the lanyard as well, which just can go underneath your shirt and you can connect up the camera system, either portrait or landscape, which is super easy to do. There's a suction cup mount and there's a bunch of other mounts online as well. I also recently ordered a head mount as well because I thought that looked pretty cool. So this is a stealthy camera system. It's called the Osmo Nano. It makes sense because it's such a small camera system, but it does open up a lot of creative aspects when it comes to your videos and your projects that you're working on. There's just unique mounting options that you couldn't get from really any other camera system. I even think about like mounting it to the base of my electric scooter. If that was my action camera, I'd be way too nervous that it would scratch the ground. But because the Nano is so small, I know that I can tuck it under there. I know that if it's mounted to my hat, it's really subtle and it's not as noticeable, right? And I can't even feel the weight of it when it's on a hat. If it's connected to my shirt, I can't feel it at all. It's just so unique that you can get these perspectives that you wouldn't be able to with other camera systems. This is a brand new product line for DJI. I know that we've seen the Action 2, which is a similar kind of design, but this is a redesigned camera system and it is a new product line. So I think they've done a great job for their first entry into the Osmo Nano world, into that kind of modular micro world of cameras. There's many other competitors on the market. And like I said, the Action 2 was quite popular. I know it was popular in the FPV drone world just because it's such a small camera and really easy to mount. So I think this is going to be another popular option for a lot of FPV drone pilots out there. And also people who want those creative perspectives where you have to mount it really low to the ground or magnetically connect it to your car, or put it somewhere unique that you wouldn't be able to with other camera systems. So I think a lot of people are going to love this camera system. Let me know in the comments below what your thoughts are. I'd love to know if this is something that you're going to pick up. If you've already got one yourself, let me know. Leave those comments below and I will make sure to reply when I get a chance. I appreciate all the support though, and I'll chat to you in the next one. Peace.